Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. I go by INNATE, and this video was requested, and I got a few likes on it, so I figured I would, as in the comment got likes, which tells me that other people are interested in that kind of video. But I'm going to be talking about how I meditate, and I first have to say that everyone will meditate. I mean, I'm sure we all have similarities, but you do what's right for you, So if you're the type who cannot visualize, I got a comment recently about someone who is unable to visualize, or if you have the type of mind who just races, you're like trying to quiet it, trying to focus on something, and it's just like, nah, like I'm not working that way. You can focus on a stone or a candle or a figurine or a Lego or anything. Like, you can focus on something and just try to kind of immerse yourself in the details of what you're looking at. So let's say it's a candle, just like watching the way the flame plays, feeling the warmth from it perhaps. Things along the line of that. If it's a stone, like trying to memorize the patterns in it, or the textures, looking at every groove or the smoothness, and just really taking in the details of this stone. Now, this is certainly really nice ways and beautiful things to talk about, but you can do the same thing by doing tasks such as dishes. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be this thing where you're like, okay, this is where I sit and I'm here and I have my stuff. I'm not saying that's not good. I mean, that is some sweet stuff to do that. But bringing meditation and meditative practices and times of kind of like being so in the moment that you're kind of checked out, and it's like, I know it's like a jumbo shrimp kind of situation there, but you're like just so focused that it takes away everything else, it falls away. And that's one of the things of meditation that is so beautiful, and so it just like takes you out. It moves you through dimensions almost. So it's important that, I like to meditate in my bed, outside, in a chair, but it's something that I know benefits me anytime I do it. So I will certainly tap into that when I'm doing a chore. Just while we're on the topic of doing a chore, it's that mindfulness of what you're doing. So if it's the dishes, like I hate doing dishes. It's probably one of the things I hate the most. But but I've kind of changed my language and I wouldn't say that anymore. And in fact, I kind of turn it into something that works for me. I might start my own mantra that I make up about being so happy that I have all these forks to wash, and all the food that I ate with these forks, and how my family ate such a good meal, or whatever, and just like bringing awareness into the appreciation for the fact that your dishes are dirty because you're eating, or something like that. So it's just another thing to consider. If you're driving to work, that's a lot of time where we all have a lot of time to ourselves. It's a perfect opportunity to meditate or get into a meditative state. In fact, you typically find that as you're driving, even if you're not actively meditating, it's like you start coming up with these ideas, and things just like are working through your mind so much easier, because the act of driving, it's like you're concentrating, you're so focused that you're kind of checked out. And it kind of plays with the, like, sometimes you show up to where you're going to, and you're like, oh man, I don't even remember the drive, because you were in such a state of like hyper awareness that like made everything melt away. And it's kind of contradicting. I hope you know what I mean. So at this point, I probably don't have to tell you the benefits of meditation, but I'm going to mention a few of them from what I've seen from my experience. And that is, first of all, for me, like personal understanding. Like, that's my deal. That's what I'm trying to do. The more I understand myself, the better off I am to understand you and help you, or just be considerate, be kind. All of those things that I see as qualities that I want in myself, as something I want to be, which is a good person. That's something I really want to own, is being good. I have bad stuff too, don't get me wrong. I'm no little goody angel or anything like that. But what I mean is coming from a place of compassion and non-judgment, and understanding that we're all at the level that we're at, and that's okay, and just do the best that I can to help those who might be benefited from it. I'm not any saving grace to anything, but I know the power of hearing a message at a certain time or being inspired to think about something at a certain time. So that's what I'm kind of getting at more. Additionally, meditation is known to be very calming, reduce anxiety, reduce stress levels, actually physically be good for your body, just the way like sleep is good for your body. I mean, clearly different things we're talking about here, but just to give you an idea of like a comparison. It's, for me, something that I use to work through things that I'm going through. I don't meditate to quiet my mind and just sit there like a rock. That's not how I meditate at all. However, it is a good practice, like going back to that, getting in the zone, staring at the stone, staring at the candle, just being very present in that circumstance where you're like studying something. I can do the quiet mind thing, but I'm getting into that zone specifically with the intention to heighten my own personal abilities, to look within myself and do something that, that is timely, that is taking place in my life. For me, I'm a very project-driven kind of person at this time right now. I feel like it's a very, I don't want to say pivotal point because I know where the ball is always rolling, but I'm kind of seeing like where I should put my focus, what project should I do first, instead of spreading out my energy and not really getting enough done, like putting them in order, prioritizing things like that. Will this work out? Is this worth it? Does this deserve my time right now? What's the lesson here? Can I learn the lesson without, the work, if that's all that it was going to get chalked up to anyway? Certain things like that. So while you're meditating, clearly let's go from the beginning, right? Get comfortable. And if you're doing your dishes, just like center yourself. Do the best that you can to be in your body. I like to close my eyes and focus on, and when I do, I usually get this like chill down my body. But I'll focus on the space between my cells, between my atoms, the parts of me that aren't there, if that makes sense at all, like on a microscopic level, and see that energy there that is keeping these protons whirling and these things held in suspension, and all the things that are going on within my body, my heart beating, my blood pumping, all of that, and just focus on the absence of the physical. That's totally my thing, like you can do whatever you want, but that's the way that I kind of get into my body, and like I'll feel the weight of it. I'll play with, some like stretching and like get a little physical, and then bring myself into the space between is one way I like to say it. After doing that, some deep breaths are obviously very good. Breath work is so important and very overlooked. I'm a bit of a shallow breather. I think it's because I have just a very short torso. I say my body type would be like tree frog or something, like long arms and legs and like a little torso. That's my look. But I think it has something to do with my shallow breaths because, there's a lot else, other stuff in my body besides just my lungs. So when I'm meditating and I'm doing breath work, or especially if I'm doing a session, I just make sure that I'm taking those deep cleansing breaths in a comfortable way. It's not like almost like, that's how I am when I take my inhaler. I'll just like take my inhaler and I'll like take the biggest breath I can, and it's like kind of hurts, and just hold it, like let it out slow. I don't do that when I'm doing breath work. Just take like a long, deep, comfortable breath in and breathe out. I usually breathe in and out through my nose for the most part, but when you're doing a cleansing breath, it's nice to like and just like see it breathing away from you, blowing away from you. That's just very basic stuff though, right? So then for me, sometimes if I'm in my bed, I like to put a dark blanket or a like a lavender eye mask. Sometimes if I don't have any of that, just my arm over my eyes. That helps me. I like to play through meditation with the mental movie screen. And after I've been present, I've been still, I've studied this rock or this candle or whatever I'm doing, or just brought myself into the dishes or driving or anything like that, then I open myself up with an intention to receive information or work through something that pertains to what I need to go through. So that's very personal, like you're gonna have something different that you're contemplating, and it doesn't have to be so like there are other tools that you can use, such as tarot or journaling or whatever, that will help you work through things maybe more tangibly or give you more of a yes or no type thing. But a lot of the times you'll see that when you're in this state of meditation, you start contemplating your options, contemplating what you just went through, whether it was a breakup or your wife just had a baby, or you're moving, like anything that you're going through, or just the moment that you caught yourself in of anger or jealousy or pettiness that you want to think about and be like, why was I like that? I don't like that. I want to get rid of it. Whatever it is, when I'm in that state of meditation, I very much connect with my heart, and I let that focus of energy, or that myself focused on that energy, that like it's like I'm acting from that space. I let that be the sensor to what I'm thinking about. So let's say I'm contemplating between two choices. When I start thinking about them, if I'm focused on my heart, it will be so obvious to me which one will be the right choice for me. And when I come out of this meditation, I feel like I've kind of made some progress, and all I was doing was really sitting there. Of course, that's not all I was doing, but you get my drift. Oh, just to mention, these amazing earrings are from Happiness Boutique. I got them for free. I'm not a a pusher of things, but I love this brand. They have super cute, like really simple earrings, but they have like fancy cool earrings too, but it's more my style. And yeah, they sent me 3 things for free for mentioning them and giving you the code for some stuff off. They're a great company, and I wouldn't do this if I didn't actually really love them. So I will put some links in the description below for you. But anyway, back to the meditative stuff. So that like connection with the heart really helps to guide me. That could be, I about a year ago had a really bad breakup, and this was with my best friend, so it wasn't like romantic, but this was my best friend for 9 years. And like I don't want to overshare, and I don't think poorly of her at all. I treasure her and I love her, but in a nutshell, I had some heavy shit to work through, and meditation really helped me there, because I'll have to give you some information, I guess, personally, but basically we had a strange falling out. I could kind of see it coming. I saw it coming, but I didn't see how it was gonna come. So when it came, I felt very judged, and I felt rejected and so hurt. Like I was literally in bed, depressed, crying for days, like at least 2 or 3 days, where like I couldn't do anything, and I would just cry and cry. I've never broken up with a romantic partner and done that before, so this was a really new experience for me, one I think I had to have in terms of life experience. But to wrap it up, she'll kind of like reach out to me sometimes, and it just will reopen that wound. Like as much as I've forgiven her and I understand what she was going through, I can see her side of it. I can see, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can see, and I pride myself a little on being balanced and able to at least see other people's perspectives, or know that they did what they thought was right, for them, and that who am I to judge for that? But every time I would hear from her, it was like this feeling, and it would bring out this petty side in me, like, well, too bad you're not my friend now. like I'm not like that. And this thing would come out, and it was really hard for me. And like I'm saying like just even a couple weeks, even though our friendship kind of ended, I'd say like over a year ago, even like a couple weeks, and I still have to work through it, and I still have to meditate and say like, do I invite her back? Do I make an effort to, get back together? And, the answer is always no. When I'm connected to my heart, The answer is no, and that's kind of sad, but that's life, and maybe we'll get back together down the road, but right now it's just not the time. And as much as my mind might want to believe that I might be ready for something like that, when you listen to your heart, it'll tell you what's right. So sorry for the overshare, but that is an example of what I might work through, or what I have worked through, and connecting with my heart that way. Guided meditations are amazing. I love listening to guided meditations, and this is turning into a bit of a ramble and personal share, but how I discovered ASMR was actually through more or less guided meditations. When I was pregnant, I wanted a natural birth, and I was bought a couple like hypnobirthing albums, and it would just be like one intro and one track, and they were like kind of expensive, like $20 or something for like one track. Like, so I was like, you know what, let me go to YouTube and see what they have. And it kind of fell down the Alice in Wonderland kind of hole into like the ASMR community that way. So that's where my first introduction was, and it was typically like massage, or not massage, like spa kind of sounding things, or the kind of like walk you through thing. It wasn't even visual at all. It was just like relaxing, and then it kind of led into like the more like finding like Amal and Gentle Whispering and Queen of Serene. Like those were my faves back then. They're still my faves. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off track there. But guided meditation can be incredibly helpful for someone who has a problem visualizing, whose mind tends to not be able to kind of work through something. So if you're listening to a guided meditation, you can pick one that has a purpose. So let's say you want to meditate and get in touch with maybe an animal totem, or balance your chakras, or heal your past, or something like that. You can use guided meditations as and set an intention through them and work with them to do it, to work through whatever you're doing. So those are just my meditation tips. It's definitely personal. I can share with you that crystals certainly help me to meditate, whether it's the fact that I need to pick them out, like which one am I going to use, which one feels right. You don't have to know what all of them do. Just like if you have some stones on your table or wherever you keep them, if you have a small pile or a large pile, whatever, just take your receptive hand. So I'm a righty, so my left hand is my receptive hand, and just kind of like hold them over the stones, and just kind of close your eyes and feel, oh, like that one feels right, and use that one. That's one way to do it. Obviously there's things like rose quartz, which is the love stones. If you're working on love, it would be great to focus on one of those. It can be helpful to have a point going in and a point going out to kind of channel energy and work that way. I love when you can meditate at an altar. I find that to be incredibly powerful and very focused for me. We're all different, but I find that to be so. And one of my favorite things to do, I can't do it in my bedroom now, but in my last bedroom, my bed was set up so that like behind the bed there was windows. And I would kind of, on the windowsill, make this like a small altar for myself and sit, near my pillows, and just like look out the window and meditate there. And I had some amazing experiences that way. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all that I have, unless I'm forgetting something that I'm not sure about. But take it slow. Like, don't set pressure on yourself. Do what feels right. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's as long as you're getting something out of it. If you're getting a little brain break, like, just take that. That's fine. I hope that you enjoyed this video and got anything out of it, and just thank you so much for your love and support. I'm so incredibly grateful for my recent like shop successes. I know I keep mentioning it, but it was like a really big deal. I just mailed some stuff the other day, and like my receipt for UPS was like USPS was so long I could like wrap it around myself, and I was just like, oh my god, you see how much stuff I just mailed? That's crazy. So anyway, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So thank you. I can't tell you what it means to make something with your hands and send it to someone, or to, work with an awesome person and make like this shirt and then wear it. And I'm like wearing it right now, and it's like, what? That's crazy to me. It's very special. And to think that there's other people wearing them, like that's so special. So thank you so much. I'm just so grateful. From the bottom of my heart, as always, namaste.